We will start with the second chapter we have already started, and we have read about algae. Now in this part we will read about bryophytes and pteridophytes. The learning objectives would be bryophytes. In pteridophytes we'll learn about their general characters, their types of reproduction, then what are their various types and their economic importances. We know that the kingdom plant is divided into algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Out of that we have gone through the algae, and now we will read about the bryophytes and the pteridophytes. Gymnosperms and angiosperms will come further in the next video. Then the plant kingdom, it is classified into bryophytes. The bryophytes are non-vascular, pteridophytes have vascular, that means they have vascular system, xylem and phloem. Then bryophytes are seedless and pteridophytes are also seedless. Then bryophytes, they have spore bearing, and pteridophytes also bear spores. They both have swimming sperms, and their examples are mosses and liverworts. Then these are some of the examples. These are the various types of moss we can find in the garden of our houses. Then these are the liverworts. They are also flattened mosses, you can say, flattened, fleshy, thallus-like. And these hornworts, you can see here the hornworts, they are having the leaves are like horns. Then the liverworts, here more liverworts and mosses examples are there. What are the general characteristics of bryophytes? Bryo means moss, and there are about 16,000 species of bryophytes. They are non-vascular, that means they do not have a vascular system, they do not have a xylem and phloem. Their advancement over algae is that they have a cuticle, they have multicellular gametangia, that means the gametes are multicellular, the gamete bearing structures are multicellular, and they have stomata. They also require moist environment for their activities and sexual reproduction. Mosses are the bryophytes. They are most closely related to the vascular plants. The gametophyte is the dominant generation in the life cycle of the bryophyte. So gametophyte means the main plant body. Now these bryophytes are divided into three types: liverworts, hornworts and mosses. You can see here that what we have read previously was the green algae. This algae is an old algae is an old one, containing very primitive type of structures. Then from the algae evolved the hornworts, from the hornworts evolved the liverworts, then the mosses. Mosses are very near to the vascular plants, that means they are the nearest of the vascular plants. These bryophytes, they do not have true roots. Their roots are, the root-like structures are called rhizoids. These rhizoids are those which draw nourishment from the ground. They are relatively simple and multicellular filaments. So then they are also called the amphibians of plant kingdom because they remain near the moist soil. They remain in the moist soil, but they need water for their fertilization and for the reproduction. Then the mode of nutrition may be autotrophic as well or saprophytic. The plant body is thallus, that means it is not divided into root, stem and leaves. Then the sporophyte has three parts: the foot, spicita and capsule. You can see in this picture. This is the sporophyte region. This green colored, this much structure is the sporophyte region. This structure is a sporophyte. This is a foot embedded in the gametophyte, and then there is a seta, that is a long pipe-like structure, filamentous structure, and the capsule which bears the spores. So the structure which bears the spore is a sporophyte, and the structure which bears the gamete is a gametophyte. Gametophyte is the main plant body. Sporophyte is the one which will bear spores, and these spores will germinate. The gametophyte bears multicellular jacketed sex organs, that is archegonia and antheridia. Archegonia is a female sex organ, and antheridia is a male sex organ. So here this is the antheridia. It is surrounded by a jacket, a layer of cells called the jacket. And this archegonia, it is a funnel shaped, you can say. It has a neck region, it has a venter region, and there is an egg or oosphere or egg. Okay, so this is the archegonia. Sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta and capsule. The capsule produces haploid meiospores of similar, capsule has spores of similar type. So the spores germinate and they form a protonema. Protonema means a filamentous stage, a branch which is very tender, made up of single cell. Okay, so you can see here diploid sporophyte generation. Here what happens first, the spores which I told you, spores are liberated from the sporophyte. Spores are liberated from the sporophyte, and then these spores are two types, male spores and female spores. So they will grow into male plant and female plant. That plant is called gametophyte. On this gametophyte, the male plant will bear antheridia. Okay, this contains sperms. Then the female plant will contain archegonia, which contains the the female plant or the female gametophyte will contain archegonia, which contains the egg. When these two will fuse, okay, this egg and sperm will fuse, then the egg will be fertilized, and the embryo which will be formed will lead on that plant only, will lead in the formation of this brown colored sporophyte. So this is the diploid sporophyte generation. Then coming to what is alteration of generation. Life cycle of the plant is called alteration of generation. Here both haploid and diploid generations are present. This sporophyte is a diploid one. Sporophyte generation is a diploid generation. Gametophyte generation is a haploid generation. It contains n number of chromosomes, and the sporophyte contains 2n number of chromosomes. Okay, so this is called the alteration of generation. After the gametophyte comes the sporophyte. After the sporophyte again comes the gametophyte. Then what is the significance? It gives better chance of survival, adapted to the environment, and new varieties are developed. That we all know. Then alteration of generation in bryophytes is that the haploid phase is gametophytic generation or sexual phase. It bears anthrozoids and eggs. The gametophyte phase is longer lived and it is dominant. The diploid phase or the sporophyte phase results in the formation of the zygote. Due to the formation of zygote, this zygote, it germinates to form gametophyte again. The cycle continues and between gametophyte and sporophyte. So here this is a picture of how sporophyte and gametophyte, but this is a fern. Then coming to these are the various life cycles of various types of bryophytes. This is a moss, the same type it is. Okay, this one is the Marchantia, that is you can say the liverworts, and then the before one was the alteration of generation, which I have explained you, that the diploid plant will change into will produce spores. These spores will germinate to form the gametophyte. This gametophyte will bear gametes of two different types. They will fuse to form the zygote, and this zygote will again form the sporophyte. Then coming to this, again the same thing. This is a protonema. Protonema means single branched structure, filamentous structure, which comes out from the spore that will germinate to produce two types of plants, male and female. Then there will be fusion of gametes, and then on the female plant will be born the sporophyte. Okay, and this sporophyte will again be develop. So then similarly in Marchantia, that is in the liverworts. So here it's very clearly given how a sporophyte looks like. This is a sporophyte, and the lower leafy structure is the gametophyte. The foot of the sporophyte is embedded in the gametophyte, and it draws nourishment from the gametophyte. So here is the structure of antheridia and archegonia in through microscopes. Then come to the types of bryophytes, the liverworts. Their gametophyte is thalloid or leafy. Okay, they are very simple. Rhizoids are present. Reproduction is asexual with the help of gamma. Gamma is produced inside the gamma cups, and this gamma are released when the raindrops will fall on it. So here you can see these are the gamma cups, and inside it the gamma which are present, they are released when the raindrops fall. They are flown along with the raindrops, and then they are bounced by the raindrops, and then they sexual haploid gametophyte and diploid sporophyte is present. Sporophytes are without stomata, and they contain numerous chloroplasts. Then these are the antheridial stalks, on which this is about the liverworts. Okay, so this is the stalk, antheridial stalk, and here this bears the antheridia. This flower like structure, it bears the antheridia, is the antheridophore. Then this thallus like structure, thallus structure is a gametophyte. Then come to archegoniospore, that is the female gametophyte. The female gametophyte is it is like umbrella shaped, and under these umbrella you will find archegonium. Under these umbrella like structures are these archegonium, and when seen this archegonium from a larger point of view, here you will find the egg, the neck or the venter, and the mouth. Okay, from where the egg will be fertilized. So neck, egg and venter. Then the hornworts. The hornworts characteristics is the same, almost same. They are also green in color, having chloroplasts. Then antho means flower and keras means horn. There are 100 most species, and they have large chloroplasts. They have elongated capsules. Rhizoids are single-celled. Gametophyte is thalloid, and sporophytes have stomata. Then the sporangia dehisce to disperse spores, and elater-like structures are also present. Elaters are those cells along with the spores which do not reproduce anything. Okay, they are the cells which are not fertile. So here is the gametophyte. On this gametophyte, these leaf-like structures, hard leaf-like structures are born. That is why it is known as hornwort. Then coming to what is the structure of this hornwort, you see the long slender sporophyte generation grows upward from the thallus and are typically 0.5 to 12 centimeters in height. The hornworts often have long pointed sporophytes that rise from the thalloid gametophyte. So hornworts have long sporophytes that rise from the gametophyte. These are the hornworts. Okay. Then coming to mosses. Sporophytes with stomata, specialized conducting teeth. They have sporophytes, they have also stomata. Their gametophytes are leafy. Mosses have leafy. Rhizoids are multicellular. Sporangia with dehiscent capsules. So their sporangia contains capsules, and as you have seen here, this capsule. Okay, here is a capsule. So sporangia contains capsule, and examples are there: Polytrichum, sphagnum. Then a mature sporangium consists of a basal swollen foot, a stalk or seta. Foot is embedded in the gametophyte, and producing structure the capsule, and it has a seta and it has a capsule. The capsule comprises of sporogenous cells, and they are surrounded by a layer of sterile cells. So capsule is containing spores. Then these capsules, they will undergo divisions repeatedly, and which undergo meiosis then, and then haploid spores are present. That means this capsule contains spores, and inside these cells will go on repeated division, and then meiosis will occur, and then spores are produced. These spores are disseminated, and all of the spores are the same type. Then the sexual reproduction is eugymous type. The male gametes are small and motile, and the female gametes are large and non-motile. The sex organs are antheridia and archegonia is the same. Both kinds of sex organs develop in the same plant or in different plants. Each antheridium is usually club-shaped, and it contains anthrozoids mother cells, which later turn into anthrozoids or male sperms. The archegonia are usually flask-shaped, as I told you before, that it has a neck, it has a venter, and it has an spore. Okay, each archegonium consists of swollen portion, the venter, elongate, on which is present the oosphere. Okay, and then on that oosphere is present the neck, and that neck is a long one from where the sperm will float and enter into the archegonium. Okay, fertilization. Water is necessary for fertilization. The jacket, if mature, antheridium ruptures, liberating the sperms. The motile flagellated sperms swim in the film of water and reach the neck of the archegonium. The meantime, axial row of the neck canal cell disorganize, and the tip of archegonium ruptures. So this is how the archegonium will swim. Then it will reach the antheridia will swim and reach the archegonium. The gametophyte is a dominant stage. It depends on water for reproduction. The spores will produce protonema, and this protonema will develop into gametophyte. Specific structures make reproductive cells at the tip of the gametophyte. So that means at the gametophyte, on the tip of the gametophyte, you will find the sperms and the eggs. Okay, the sperms are called antheridia and the eggs are called archegonia. This join to form the zygote, and this zygote will develop to form the sporophyte plant. Then what is the importance of bryophytes? They are the source of fuel, they are helpful in horticulture, house construction, and many more. The liverworts, they produce peat. Okay, when they dry up, the roots of them, they form peat. The peat is brown soil-like material, characteristics of boggy acid ground consisting of decomposed vegetable matter. It is suitable for production of low and intermediate gas as well as hydrogen, ethylene, natural gas, methanol, Fischer-Tropsch gasoline, Peat mosses are best suited for the production of methane, and peat is likely to become an important source of fuel for production of heat, methane, electricity, etc. So this part we have